Hey there, welcome to your Lion's Gate portal reading for August 8th of 2021. And it can be any Lion's Gate that you come across in your life. It doesn't have to be the one for 2021 if you happen to come across this outside that time frame, because as always, the Creator and Spirit are not bound by time and space. And so if you're drawn to this message, then there are messages for you. But if you are coming across this on August 8th of 2021, then the portal for the Lion's Gate this year kind of opened up around July 28th, depending on where you're at in the world, and is going to close around August 12th. Now, the August 8th is when the portal is the widest open, and when like the activation and the energy is just so strong. That's where, this portal increases the cosmic energy that's flowing between the physical world and the spiritual realm. So it just really opens up this portal where it's like the veil is very thin and we can communicate between those. And amongst all that, also, there's the new moon in Leo is at its height today as well, at 7:50 a.m. Mountain Time, so depending on where you're at and all that. I do a special reading for the new moon in Leo, so that'll be linked at the end of this video here if you want to check that out as well. It'll be under the new moon, full moon readings. So if you want to check that out, just jump on over there after this one. So what is the Lion's Gate? And I love these cards here by the White Light Oracle, because it just really shows this beautiful, beautiful lion. And we'll talk about Ishtar's Lion Gate 888 here in a second as well. But what is the Lion's Gate? There's this special cosmic alignment when the sun happens to be in the sign of Leo, and the star Sirius rises into this special trajectory with the Earth. And in looking at the Lion's Gate, some information was talking about in ancient times, Sirius, the star, would match up with like the Great Pyramids, and it would do it on July 26th, and that is what Egyptian considered their new year. Of course, over the thousands of years, our systems kind of change a little bit, so those exact dates have altered a little bit. But with the sun in Leo, which is the ruler of the heart, and then Sirius, the star, bringing in all that extra energy, the veil is thin, so we can have a heightened connection with all the higher realms. Now, the symbols of the gate, the lion, and also the 8-pointed star, which, 8 is, of course, August. All of that also points towards ancient references to a woman priestess who is named Ishtar, which is all this about this Ishtar Lion's Gate. And she's considered like the goddess of the planet Venus, so like Leo's in charge of the heart. The goddess, Ishtar is of the planet Venus, which is about love. But she also had this sacred relationship with the star Sirius. And I mention all that because she's the queen of letting go, and she holds the keys to renewal from suffering. So it's kind of like the phoenix in a way where, from the ashes we rise up and renew things in our lives. And I loved when I was reading in this particular deck, it says, she is relentless in her pursuit of the path to true inner freedom. So the energy of Ishtar and the Lion's Gate portal gives us support in surrendering our attachments, letting go of identities like mother, wife, boss, brother, boyfriend, whatever it might be. And it draws us to spending time to ourself, focusing on the higher realm and our higher self that we are. So this reading that we're about to do is going to be part 1 of 2 parts, actually. So this reading is going to be about what you're ready to surrender, or you're getting ready to surrender. And then part 2 is going to be coming in September. I'm going to be doing some autumn equinox readings, which will focus on what's falling away to make room for the new, fall, autumn. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So what's falling away to make room for the new? So to make sure you don't miss out on any of those, if you haven't already, click on the subscribe button down below and make sure to hit that little bell icon and you'll get an alert when those are posted. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump in to the reading now. All right, all my Taurians. So this is the Lion Gate portal reading for you. And we're going to start off by pulling a card here from the Power of Surrender cards. And these, of course, are perfect because this reading is all about what you're ready to surrender or you're getting ready to surrender. So we'll ask the Creator what they would like you to know about what you're ready to surrender with this Lion's Gate and Leo new moon energy that's coming in for this reading. And of course, this is the spark, so whatever, you can have other things unfolding, throughout the months coming, but this will be the energy that's coming in and see what it unfolds. So, all right, Creator, what do you have for our Taurians for their Lion's Gate energy? What do you want them to know about letting go or surrendering to or surrendering? Okay. This one right here is speaking out, so we will choose this one. And it's surrender to what is. That's a beautiful picture there. And it says flow with what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change a situation, compassionately accepting it exactly as it is will bring you peace. It's so true, isn't it? I know in life we have all these supposed to's and shoulds and need to's and have to's and all these rules that we're taught from the outside world of what needs to happen in order for us to be lovable and acceptable and worth anything, being worthy of other things. But that's what causes our chaos, because usually reality works against our supposed to's and shoulds. We're like, oh my gosh, it didn't turn out the way that it should, or it's not turning out the way it's supposed to. And that's what creates all this chaos within us. But surrendering to what is and just going, you know what? It is what it is. And I get to choose what it means about me, about others, and about the world. And so it's about sitting in the external circumstances and using that time to look inside us to see what our roles are about life and question those. Because up until this point, or up until the point you started to question those beliefs that we have, we've just been inundated from opinions and roles from the outside world, and even a lot of them contradicting one another. So we've got this big bag, or bucket full of all these expectations and conditions. And we can start sorting through those. And a lot of them stick together, so it's not like you have to take each one. Sometimes you just grab one big expectation and it covers multiple areas of our lives. But it's a time to do that. We're also going to pick some cards here, and these are the Naked Heart Tarot, and we're just going to see what else the Creator wants you to know about surrendering to what is. All right, Creator, what else do you want our Taurians to know about this surrendering? Okay, what else? Okay. What else? Anything else? Nope. Okay, so this is it for this one here. We'll start with these since they turned over here first. Yep, so you've got the Five of Cups, and this is about focusing on what we don't have in our lives. So this will be the focus on lack. Usually they have 3 cups that are spilt over and 2 behind a person that are upright. And even behind the person, there's a bridge that goes across a river to this castle where there's even more than you could ever need in life. We have all our fulfillment. But the three cups are emotions that have spilt, and we focus on those feelings of loss, those feelings that those things are no longer in our lives or haven't come in our lives. So it could be focusing in on, like again, the shoulds, like I'm supposed to have this and should have this in my life and I don't, so I feel empty. And of course, the turnaround for that is when we start focusing on the 2 cups behind us and the bridge. I mean, that's what leads us to even more abundance, is when we focus on what we do have in our life. And that gratitude and that thankfulness is what grows. We have a very powerful energy that on whatever we focus on in life is what grows in our life. So if we focus on lack grows in our life. If we focus on gratitude and thankfulness, then that's what grows in our life. More things to be grateful for and to be thankful for actually, expand in our life. And I love this companion card, the 8 of Swords. Swords are all about our thoughts, our beliefs, our mindsets, our attitudes. And you can see that this rose is, trapped in the thorns, and amidst all these, the swords and the thoughts. And this basic message for this card is that we are the ones, our thoughts, our beliefs, our attitudes are the ones that restrict us and that keep us small. And that's all those beliefs, like I said, that we've been fed all our lives. So we take those on as our own, and then we reinforce those and police them in our lives. And as we start to question those, like we talked about, that bucket, we start to remove these swords, which starts to give us more freedom, and we feel bigger. And like the rose, it's a confined rose bush. The rose bush grows and grows, and more fruit, more flowers, it grows, So you get it, what I'm trying to say there. Yeah. And then you have the 9 of Wands. Wands are all about your energy, your drive, your spark within you, even your spiritual, energy. And the 9 of Wands is like you're becoming overwhelmed by all the amount of energy. And this can be if you're, very empathic, where you feel people's emotions. It could also be an indicator that you've taken on a lot of other people's energy. And this is where you're feeling blocked. Little monkey can't get through. He's trying to get through. And it's a card of resilience about don't give up. You're almost to the end. So the 10 of Wands will be when you've had enough, and the endings and new beginnings will happen. So you're almost to the end of that, those emotional feelings and feeling overwhelmed by all this, which is great, because when you surrender to what is, that's what dissolves, those swords, right? You let those expectations go, the swords fall away and the flower blooms. You focus, letting go of all the, when you focus on what is and are grateful for what is, like we talked about with the cups, then gratitude grows in your life. And when you focus just on what is in this moment, you're not focusing on the future and you're not focusing on the past, you're focusing on the moment, and you have so much energy in this moment that it doesn't feel overwhelming. And you can persevere when you take one moment at a time. When you think about all the stuff that you have to, accomplish over your life, oh my God, that is overwhelming, right? I have an example that came to me once, because I saw a little, the flash in my mind of a little kid who was, at the lunch counter, and he was trying to pay for all week's lunches with today's lunch money, and there wasn't enough. And so he was panicking, and he was just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And the lunch lady was like, well, all you need is enough for today's meal. You don't have to use your lunch money for today for the entire week. You have lunch money for tomorrow too, for that day. And it really just brought this clarity of like, yeah, I have enough energy in this moment, and if I try to spend this moment's energy in all future moments, there's not going to be enough, and you feel thin and you feel that lack. But when you just fill up this moment with it all, then what a wonderful wholeness you feel, and you relax and you're at peace instead of freaking out about the what ifs for the future instead of the what is of the moment. Right, and then we're going to pull a card here from the Power deck. It's the Cards of Wisdom, and we're just going to see what else the Creator would like you to know about this energy that's coming in for you for this Lion's Gate. How is it going to ripple out from here for you? As you focus on what is going to, what would the Creator like you to know? Okay. Okay, actually, they're telling me that this is the one here. And you got this one here. Beautiful. I love that. The moon and the planets and the feathers. And this is called perfection. This is number 17. I'll let you see that and then I'll read it. So it says, dream your passion, fly away, go through the hoop of your innermost fears and desires. Meet them and conquer them. What pain from childhood have you not dealt with? Move into the wound of your most secret fears and find the seeds of wisdom that are planted there. Face what upsets you the most. It's a great teacher. Give away whatever is holding you back. Insecurities, ego, fear of failure, or of not being loved, fear of being alone. Give all that up and be reborn into a new state of perfection. And it's interesting because perfection is really helps us with this what is, because all those, those swords we're talking about, all those supposed to shoulds and whatever, they all tell us you have to be perfectly obey all of these in order to be lovable and acceptable. And so it always points us to the future of when this happens, then you'll be lovable and happy and yada, 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 right? But what this perfection talks about is, looking back over all your life and even facing your fears of the future, and the healing balm that just covers all of those and smooths everything out is when we connect to our higher self. When you connect to this moon energy, this Leo moon energy that's coming up. Leo is the ruler of the heart, like I mentioned in the intro. And when we get into our heart, like our real, not our heart, beating heart, but get into our spiritual heart, and when we connect to who we really are, to that unconditional love from the Creator of all things, that is what brings us this foundation of our worth. And because the Creator has zero expectations of us, because it's unconditional love, no conditions, then we meet 100% of those expectations that don't exist. So we are perfect because there are no expectations. All these rules from the outside world of supposed to be, should be, whatever. We realize that we are love. We're actually made of love. Like God is love, we are love. The Creator of all things is, the essence of the Creator is unconditional love, and that's what we're made of. And you realize that, we don't have to be anything else than who we are in this moment. And that's where this perfection message comes in. We're going to pull also some additional cards here to see what other messages the Creator has. But that's truly what brings us the freedom and what brings us the peace. Because, like it mentioned here, compassionately accepting what is exactly as it is right now. And going, you know what? It is perfect. Because all these rules and ideas I'm trying to apply it to it didn't exist until someone fed them to me and said, this is what you're supposed to expect. Until then, you didn't expect anything. It's like, I know there's a parable in the Bible about this, but, in like modern day kind of things, it's like, let's say you apply for a job, right? And they offer you $20 an hour. And you're like, what? Are you kidding me? Yes, absolutely. That's fantastic. And then you get hired and you're like, oh my gosh, you're making more money than you had in so long. And you're enjoying the job and you're enjoying this extra income. And then you find out that they hired other people at $25 an hour. Suddenly, you have this disappointment because your expectation is that we're all paid the same. And wait a minute, what happened? Rah, 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 rah. And suddenly we're in chaos instead of peace, and focusing on what we don't have instead of what we do have. And then, of course, later you can find out that they had extra certificates, that for knowledge and stuff that you didn't have, which made them to be able to do more than you did, and you didn't know all that, and you find out all the reasons why. But regardless of what happens, you realize, okay, focus on what I do have. I feel whole and complete instead of focus on what I don't have. Because that just, takes away the peace. All those expectations, those supposed to's and shoulds are what take away our peace instead of, living in that beautiful, joyous moment of what is. All right, Creator, what else do you want our Taurians to know about this perfection? Okay, those three. Anything else? Nope. 3 is perfect because 3 and 3. Yep, so you got Sky Father. So, this represents the Emperor in regular tarot. And what's funny is that the Emperor, of course, is someone who controls and makes sure things stay peaceful, and et cetera, et cetera. And in the regular tarot, it represents the society. How, we're born so free. As children, we have no idea. We're just like, oh my God, life is wonderful, what an adventure, until we start hearing, no, bad boy, bad girl, oh, good girl, good boy, when we do what they want. And so these constrictions, and so that's where expectations really come through, is through this Emperor type of feel. What I love is in this deck, they have Sky Father, which is the total opposite, because Sky Father reminds me of like the Native American, what they call the Creator, who's an unconditionally loving being, totally opposite of the conditional. And that's what this teaches us in this life when we come here. Expectations, all that, aren't bad. They're different. They're different feelings than we experience back home. They're the contrast. It's like, in order to fully understand the peaceful existence we have on the other side, when we come here, we wanted to experience chaos, because when we're all in peace, we have no idea what peace is until we experience its opposite. It's like you don't even know there's air in the air that you're breathing until there's suddenly no air, like when you're submerged underwater and you're like, oh, oxygen, air, I understand it because I experiencing not having it, and I appreciate it so much more as well. It's also like love. On the other side, everyone is a loving being, an unconditionally loving being. We know no different because that's our essence. When we come here and experience our opposite, the conditional love, what it might feel like to be unworthy and all that, then we understand, oh, I understand myself more fully on the other side now that I've experienced my opposite here. So that's also a message that comes with this card, because I love Sky Fathers about all unconditional love, but the Emperor represents our expectations and all the rules that we have around everything here on the planet, which is what the perfection comes from. The difference of trying to be perfect in the unstable, ever-changing roles of the outside world where we're set up for failure, or the perfection of who we are in the heavenly realms. I got the Innocent of Wands. And so the Innocent of Wands is like, it would be the Page of Wands in a regular tarot. And so that's messages of energy. I also look at wands as spiritual energy. So you have messages from spirit that are all around you coming to you. You just have to be still and listen. But the other thing is that pages, as you can see, it's kind of a younger fox there, that it's about that, again, that childlike energy you have before you start to feel oppressed by all the stuff that you're not supposed to do and all the stuff you are supposed to do. And what happens if you don't do that, or you do that, just that whole, downward spiral of self-condemnation and failure, because like I said, it's like you're set up for failure when every single person might have a different belief. And that came to me, oddly enough, the first time I grew a goatee. And I had so many opinions from the outside. I had people that are like, oh, great, you look good with a goatee. Other people, oh, I like you better clean shaven. Other people, well, you should, have a full beard, not just a goatee. And other people like, well, you should shave off the mustache and just have a lower goatee. And blah, blah, blah. Everyone had an opinion on what my facial hair should be. And I'm like, oh my God. But it stuck with me forever because it was so over the board. It's like every person I ran into had a different opinion or expectation of what they wanted me to look. And that's where this innocence of wands comes in, is it's renewing and coming back to that place. Because when you surrender to what is, you get this flood of energy within you, because you're no longer trying to pour all that energy into trying to maintain all these rules and laws and policing them. When you have yourself under these laws, you also are trying to control everyone else to make sure that they obey those laws, either because out of compassion and you're like, I don't want you to be rejected or get hurt, so you need to do this too, or by golly, if I'm going to obey these rules, so are you. So, or maybe it's a combo, right? But so this innocence of wands is about going back to this page, this childlike feel of just without restriction and having freedom. You free yourself from all those blocks, and you free everyone else as well at the same time. Because when you're not under any rules, then you don't keep anyone else under them either. Yeah. And you got the Nine of Cups. Cups is emotions. The Nine of Cups is like the wishes fulfilled card. You feel complete, emotionally fulfilled, and free. And that's what happens. When you surrender to what is, it talks about this peace that comes. You finally feel whole and complete because you, when we're talking about this perfection, when you connect to that higher self of yours, for the first time, you feel perfect, you feel whole, you feel complete. You don't feel like you need to become anything else because you are enough with just being who you are. And then you allow everything around you to be what is, because you see the perfection and all of that. When you don't have stories that you attach to everything that's going on because of the expectations, you just see it as something's happening. Something different happens. It's not good or bad or worse or better. It's just different. It's just different. And it's a whole different perspective that you take on. We're also going to pull a card here from these energy oracle cards. And these are just going to tell us about more about the energy that's coming in here for you through the Lion's portal. And this won't go away after the portal closes. This is the spark that's coming, that's sending the ripples out in your life. So this is like, this energy is just the perfect conditions to bring these awarenesses and changes about for you. All right, Creator, what else do you want Taurans to know about this energy here? Okay, so they said this one here. Yep, we got the fourth chakra, Archangel Raphael, and the fourth chakra is actually the heart chakra. That's beautiful there. And we will see what message comes here, which I think it's so perfect. We've been talking about, returning to your heart, getting to the heart, is where you find that unconditional love, right? Where you discover yourself, rediscover the power of who you really are. So this is love, compassion, and self-acceptance. So Raphael extends a beautiful green energy surrounded by gentle waves of pink to your heart center. This card indicates that you now have a great readiness to receive love from others as well as from yourself. Could also indicate that a much needed healing from a previous broken heart is taking place. The tender vibrations of Raphael remind you to encourage yourself with the compassionate self-talk that you desire to hear from others. You know, like I talked about here, compassionately accepting. Here it's talking about compassion as well. Know that as you do this, the light from your heart center will shine with an irresistible beauty, and the universe will send people and situations that cause your sense of love and support to grow and grow. And I definitely, agree that, like we were talking about, whatever you focus on grows. When you're focusing on that love, then that love grows. If you're focused on lack of love or pain and all that, that's what we're feeding, what continues to grow. But I love about with the surrendering journey that you're going on here, it fills up your heart, like we were talking about, when you connect here to that unconditional love through your higher self from the Creator. The green energy is like the flow of love that goes out to the world, but the pink is the higher spiritual heart, and that's what you experience within yourself. That gives you this 9 of Cups, whole wishing, all wishes fulfilled feeling, because what you've been searching for all your life is to be loved, right? And I feel usually I don't, not usually, but sometimes I read the reversed meaning. They usually have a, meaning if it's reversed or not. But I feel like to read this one. It says, if the card was reversed, that some blocks in the flow of your heart, that there are some blocks in the flow of your heart center energy. Perhaps it's an old sense of abandonment or the grief of a broken heart lingering from a long past event. Whether it's recent or not, this blocked energy stops you from caring for yourself and attracting love from others, and it can create an undercurrent of unhappiness that permeates your life. It's time to heal the old stuck stuff and move on. Don't bypass the pain and pretend it doesn't exist. Instead, ventilate it into your journal and release it with an intention to be clear, happy, and self-loving. Meditate on the increasing light in your heart center and call on Raphael to help bring healing and clarity there. Love yourself and give yourself the approval you used to need from others. The healing will take place and happiness will return. And the affirmation for this card is, my heart center, my 4th chakra, is open to its perfect, healthy, and joyful state. The energy of love flows through me now. I live in love. So definitely this surrendering and this connection here is what the ripple that happens as your heart just kind of, I just had like a picture of the Grinch, his heart was 3 times too small. His heart went, and your heart just gets bigger and bigger, allowing more flow, because you can only love others to the extent that you love yourself, and you can only receive love from others to the extent that you love yourself. So we're also going to pull some additional cards here. Let's see what else the Creator would like you to know about your heart chakra. Creator, what else do you want our Taurians to know about their heart chakras? About this ripple effect here. So they want that one, wow, these 2 and that one. Okay. Yep, so don't freak out. It's the Death card. This just means endings and new beginnings. You see the butterfly between the fingers there, which represents the cycles of the moon, the cycles of life, that there's things that you're going to be, like it mentioned, old things that you're going to allow to die off and not mean anything anymore. You move them from, this flow of energy, they're blocks. Now you just move them to the side as memories. You're not getting rid of them forever. We come down here to experience them, but you're just moving over here, and that allows love to flow so much more. So that is so perfect there. Yeah. And the 2 of Swords. Decisions that need to be made, things that are going on in your life. What I love about this card, usually it's someone is blindfolded and they're holding two swords. And I love that they have a moon on one side of these, because it's like when you have to make a decision, don't just trust your mind. Swords are your thoughts, your beliefs, your mind, your logic sometimes. But the moon represents being in tune with your intuition, with your higher self, with your emotions, and make this balanced choices with that new information. The two is, one part of you is the physical human part of you, and the other is your higher self and your spiritual side, which from the moon you have a more bigger picture of what's going on. You have more knowledge instead of being only seen from the point of view of being in the maze with the high walls where you can't see anything besides what's in front of you and your back or to the sides. The higher self can see everything from up above and give you information and answers that you didn't have there. Yeah, I had a feeling this was going to come up here with this surrendering to what is. The Wheel of Fortune is like your, before we come down here, there's this, like map of life in this giant tapestry, and you can see that if you're going to be this person with these traits, these habits, born to these people at this time in this country, all the kind of astrology stuff too. It's like everything, when you choose this character you're going to play, these are all the experiences that you're going to be able to experience. This is when you'll be born, this is when you'll pass away, here's all the big events in your life. And then and you choose to come down here and do that. You're like, I specifically chose to be this person to go through these things. Now as the human, no matter when these events happen, you still have the choice. Am I going to allow this to my emotions and the impact to me be full of great fear or full of great unconditional love, or somewhere in between? And we're the ones that get to determine that. It's like an improv play where you're given, a theme, you're this character, this is what's going on, and go. And you get to take it to what extreme you want. And that's what this Wheel of Fortune says, is no matter what happens, just know that it's designed, you asked for this to come into your life, and you are the one that has control over the impact of what that situation means to you. And that allows you to surrender to what is, because you're able to see more clearly just that this is not happening to me, this is happening for me. And then you can look at it and go, why would I have wanted this to happen? What can I learn from this about myself, others, and the world? And then you have the Nine of Swords. And this was kind of like the Nine of Wands to an extent, because it's like your thoughts and your beliefs and everything, all those expectations are getting to you. Usually it's like the nightmare card or insomnia card, where all your thoughts and all your expectations and your fears of not living up to them, is keeping you up at night. And so I love that this, is a reminder of all this energy that's being invested here. The ripple that comes is how you solve these expectations, or how you make these swords less pointy. It's like the cork that goes on the end of all the swords is this unconditional love, is this heart, right? Because all these expectations are, you need to do this to be lovable and acceptable. You need to do this to be lovable and acceptable. And it's all about the Creator, just embracing us in this giant hug of love, which makes those swords less pointy and less, impactful. You have the Nine of Cups here, and you have the 10 of Cups here, which, so the Nine of Cups was, the wishes fulfilled and feeling overjoyed. The 10 of Cups is like, not only are you have enough for you, it's just impacting everyone else. These beautiful crystals. It's just like you have this energy and this love that impacts others and can last for, like lifetimes. And it impacts not just you, but other people around you, your generations to come, and other people, other people's generations. So it's this, especially when you connect to this love that comes in, and this love is pouring out, and unconditional love is what people are looking for. You become this bright beacon of love that does change people's lives, because when they experience unconditional love, free of expectations, in that purity, they'll never be the same again. It's like always eating, bland food your entire life, and someone giving you this delicious meal. It's like you see these pictures where people give someone like a Reese's peanut butter cup that had never had chocolate before in a foreign land, and they're like, oh my God, I want more. It just becomes so attractive and so delicious. Everything else becomes so much less desirable, because this is what we are all searching for, is this beautiful unconditional love. It can also represent breaking patterns, like emotional patterns from, that have been passed down from generation to generation. So it's also a message for some of you. Again, this is a general reading, but there are patterns of emotional abuse or physical abuse or sexual abuse, that have been from generation to generation, and you're the one that gets to stop that. You're the one that breaks the chain in your generation, and not only for you, but as I mentioned before, other people's lives as well. Other people have been experiencing that, and with your love, the unconditional love that you share and give, that helps them transform that, and they become the chain breakers of those cycles in their family line as well. All right, and then lastly, I'm just going to pull a couple cards here from the Everyday Tarot, just to find out about this ripple around perfection here. Let's see what the final messages the Creator has for you for this Lion's Gate reading. I'm really excited. This is beautiful, beautiful energy, life-changing energy coming into your life here. All right, Creator, what else do you want our Taurians to know about this perfection wave that's coming here? Okay, it's that one and that one. Okay. So you had the 9 of Wands, you got the 10 of Wands. This is when you're like, okay, I'm done. I'm ready to let all that energy go that I've been investing in trying to maintain and take on everyone else's emotions, and all the energy I've been investing in trying to make those expectations, meet those expectations. You're ready to lay down all that energy you're investing in doing that. Yep. And the Knight of Swords is about taking action on your thoughts. So instead of, like it mentioned here, instead of trying to maintain all those, this new change that's coming is about taking action on these new thoughts, these new awarenesses, and taking action. I kind of just feel like he's also cutting away the old expectation. So, it's this, like I just see this night like this, just going through, just, chopping off things that no longer serve you, those things that have only been causing chaos and all that, all those expectations that have been having you focus on the loss in your life and what you don't have, and all those supposed to be some shoulds. Just, it's like you're going hog wild, just chopping those off. Yep. And then you have the Ace of Cups, which this is the cup of unconditional love, the Holy Grail, the chalice. We have the Spirit up here bringing in the love, and you get to fill up with that love and overflow. So that's what happens here. When your heart becomes full of that unconditional love, you're no longer extending all this energy out to people before you're feeling whole and complete, because then you're exhausted. And that's when this, Nine of Swords and sometimes the 10 of Swords comes, where you're just totally exhausted to the point I have nothing else to give, because I'm giving you my lifeblood. But instead, when you fill up with unconditional love first, everyone else gets your overflow, and you are whole, complete. You're not resentful. It's a pure love without expectation of anything in return. And people are just like, whoa, what is this new love you're giving us? This tastes so much better than that bitter love you were giving me before. So let me just see here. Yeah. And so you have the moon here. So this is getting in touch with your the moon, like I was talking about before, is with the Two of Swords here, connecting to your higher self, diving into the unknown waters, even dealing with the subconscious and unconscious expectations and all those things. But it's definitely about, connect to your intuition, connect to your higher self. It's got both the sun and the moon, energy on there. You can see the sun and the moon energy here. So, it is definitely about shining light into the darkness, but also being able to move around in whatever emotions that are happening, and accepting whatever happens is. Is it day? Okay, it's day. That's what it is. It's night. Okay, it's night. That's what it is. Again, you have the Nine of Cups. Just reiterating here, just this beautiful, wonderful feeling here of feeling whole and complete. And then you also have the Devil here, which, don't freak out. It's, it's almost like the Death card in a way that it shows what is binding us, the things that are keeping us constricted and low. It's like our shadow side, which, like we're just talking about the moon, when we're going through our darker times, a lot of times our shadow will be bringing things to our face to show us this is what's blocking you, and it'll come in a very obvious way. The shadow is usually not subtle. So you'll have blam from this, this kind of situation, the same thing over here, the same thing over here, the same thing here, the same thing here, same thing with this person. And you're just like, oh my God, it's like a big sign in big bright lights going, and you're just like, oh, I think I see a message. And that's what this is bringing here, is really this idea of perfection in the outside world is allowing you to see, you just feel so disappointed or so disappointing that you're being brought to this moment, and this energy is just going to be opening up this world to you, where you do able to free yourself from a lot of these expectations, a lot of these thoughts and beliefs, all of these things that are keeping you up at night, giving you nightmares, losing sleep, stressing out, into a beautiful, beautiful, just freeing place to be. Love overflowing, filling you up and overflowing to really, to where you feel this way. Free, hair blown in the wind, enjoying, head raised high, not down low, enjoying your beautiful, peaceful life. So wonderful, wonderful energies coming through here for you. Just a reminder that this is just part one as well. So this is talking about what you're ready to surrender. And then I'm going to be putting out videos in early September, which is going to be the part two, which is about, there'll be readings for the fall equinox. And so that's what is falling away out of your life to make room for the new. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe and hit the little bell icon. And then you'll be notified when this part two readings come out for you there. And if you do enjoy videos like this, if you give me a thumbs up there on the bottom, that lets me know that you like these types of videos, and I'll put more out there to the universe and creator, and just ask, what else would you like me to do? So, just if you feel led to do that, it's greatly appreciated. It helps me. And yeah, just as you go throughout this wonderful energy with this Lion's Gate and the new moon in Leo, just know that every second you are unconditionally loved by the creator of all things. And I love you too. Enjoy this beautiful energy, and we'll talk to you soon. You take care.